I recently watched a Netflix documentary, Caterpillar. It came out in 2025 and it's about people who go to India to permanently change their eye color. And after watching that documentary, the main thing that I walked away with is that children are not resilient. Children are not resilient, and therefore their love shouldn't be unconditional. Because all of the people who were featured in that show or in the documentary, they all talked of some type of childhood trauma that they endured, and everything from there stems from them not feeling good enough, them not liking the way that they look, and it has just followed them throughout their entire life. The main character who was featured throughout majority of the documentary, his name is Raymond. He goes between Raymond and David, and he's 50 years old. And granted, he looks great for his age. I would have thought he was maybe like in his 30s, maybe at oldest early 40s, but you can tell that he is still suffering from so much trauma that he endured as a child, and it is pretty much the the catalyst for why him and his mother's relationship is so tumultuous. It is just so strained. He is biracial and he has a Spanish background, and he's dark skinned, and he's, well, a darker mixed person. And so he's also gay. And his mom has really, you could tell that his sexuality has always been a point of contention for him and his mama. And he also spoke of being sexually abused as a child. And you hear what she's saying that she accepts him, but it really sounds like tolerance, because she's like, well, he's my son. I gave birth to a man, and I want him to be masculine. And she was like, I will accept him being gay, but the whole breast thing, that's no. And because he said of one time he considered being trans. And you could just tell the way that she harshly talks about the things that he struggles with, it triggers him. And you could just hear him crying. He always has to step away, and he always has to walk away from her. It's almost like he's in this arrested development. It's like he wants his mother's validation, and that's understandable. I don't know what child would not want validation from their parent, especially their mother. Even as they grow older, you want that validation from the person that's closest to you. But it's kind of gotten him in this routine where they bicker, he cries and leaves, and then they're gone for a minute, and then they come back together, but there's no real resolve. So throughout the documentary, we meet different people. We meet this black woman. She has already had an immense amount of facial surgery, you can tell, and she talks about how she's always wanted lighter eyes and her trauma. There's another Spanish woman. She talks of being told that she was ugly by her family. Like, everyone has this background, this childhood trauma. So the company that is pretty much endorsing the surgery, because that's another thing, majority of these people can't afford the surgery. So Raymond, he himself writes a letter to the company, and they respond to him letting him know that they're going to pay for the procedure. The company is called Bright Ocular, and it's based out in India. So they have to all travel to India to get the procedure done. And the company themselves, they do this evaluation to even see if their eyes are strong enough to withstand this procedure. And one of the guys, an Asian guy, they pretty much told him that his eyes were too weak, like his eyes weren't strong. And the fact that there was already like literally lighter skinned people that even darker skinned people would assume are reaping benefits of colorism and other white supremacist ideas, even they themselves feel like they're not good enough. So it's just like, even when you are close to the very thing that is you think is good enough, it's still the goalpost always moves. And one thing that I picked up on, the doctors at this company was so nonchalant. You could tell that they did not believe in the procedure. And what I mean by that is that they really felt as if the procedure was unnecessary. And they pretty much told these people, like, it's not worth doing this to your eyes for cosmetic reasons. You know, if you don't feel good about yourself, you don't feel good about yourself. You really shouldn't be doing this. But the man doing the evaluation, you just kind of feel like he feels as if, well, shit, ain't no purpose in me saying it. They still gonna do it. So, like, they are so nonchalant about it and just so like, hey, we we know y'all shouldn't be doing this, but we gonna play on y'all insecurities, monetize it, and hey, come into this meat market and get your damn eye color changed. Because that's really what it felt like. Um, they was using them people for promo. Raymond, you could tell he throughout his life he's probably maintained a muscular build. Like he's probably now he's gained weight, but you can tell that he was really into his body. They had him doing push-ups. They were like, hey, can you guys give us a story of your background? It doesn't have to do with the eye color. Like they are really using these people to push the brand because they pretty much said like y'all doing these stories is what's making us money. And as they are preparing for their procedures, everybody has their procedure and things. You can tell that they're feeling antsy about it. Like they're starting to have second thoughts and regrets because they're really putting their eyesight at risk. But that just goes to show how much we as humans really need interaction with each other. We really do validate our interactions with one another, and we really do weigh each other's opinions of one another, whether it's good or bad. We do need interaction and we do need relationship and community with one another. And it just goes to say people, when they were in their community very young, they were harmed and not protected, and it's just impacted them for the rest of their lives. And everybody after their surgery is having some type of issue. The Spanish girl, the light-skinned Spanish girl, her implant, because it's kind of like a covering that they put over your eye to give it that color. It's not necessarily like they actually inject a color over your eye. It's literally like an implant that's laid over it. A piece of hers like folded over under, and it looked like specks on her eyes, and she's asking them, why is it looking like this? And they just have the most runaround answers. Oh, it was at the surgeon's call, and we made that decision for you. Bullshit. Y'all fucking up shit. Raymond and another one of the other Spanish guys, they fucked up their implants, gave them the wrong colors, and they were like, we could just switch it out. And both of them were grossed out about it. And even as a viewer, I'm like, how? That is so unethical. So fucking unethical, so unsafe. And they were like, oh, we disinfect it. We don't just swipe it. But it's like, y'all are playing with people's eyes. But they also have the undertone that, like, hey, y'all know y'all playing with y'all own eyesight. And if you don't care, why the fuck should we care? We'll fix this this mistake. Like, it's not that big to them. It's just like literally like a meat market. You hear some of the managers, because Raymond, throughout these processes, he's breaking down, like he's crying, he's very hurt about the mix up, about the arguments with his mama. Like he's really going through it emotionally. And the other guys, he's trying to play it off like, he's not as mad, but you know, there's only like one person that you could say immediately didn't have anything wrong with their surgery right afterwards. So we see Raymond, after he gets the procedure, he goes home. He sits with his mama and everything, and they have their big final blow up, and it doesn't go well. So he leaves Miami. He's from Miami, and he goes to New York, where he gets back in touch with some old friends from when, I guess he was in the gay scene really heavy, I'm assuming, because his friend appears to be a trans woman. And she pretty much tells him that he's having such a hard time because he never was supported with his family throughout his journey, whereas she was. And she didn't have nearly as many hurdles as he did. But because he's always been fighting against his family and not having support, he has all these feelings that he's battling. And his friend is pretty much saying, you got to get over this because it's holding you back. And so we see him in New York for some time. His life is going great. He's moved into an apartment. He's building it up. You can tell it probably like it was a rundown apartment, but he's putting some touches to it. But also, people are walking up to him telling him how beautiful his eyes are. But lo and behold, a few months later, he started having issues with his eyes. The implant, I believe, is starting to scratch at his retina or cornea, whichever one. And they're like, if you don't take this stuff out within a few months, you are risking going blind. And he knew that going into the surgery, but he kind of feels like all of these people are talking about when they get this new, different eye color, they're going to feel like they're reborn, like their new leash of life. And he's like, I've got to taste it. And he said he's pretty much in his mindset like now he has to go back to his former hurt self, and he is just devastated. Like you really see and feel this man's spirit just breaking. Like every time it probably feels like something good happens for him, then it just goes to shit again. And he says that he's like, all my life I've been having to smile through it. And he's talked about being sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally. And it's like, damn, to feel that you have to go that far to physically change yourself and risk your eyesight, your spirit has to really be broken the way you view yourself. And to finally feel like I've corrected the wrong and it's still a wrong that has to be corrected, I can only imagine how devastating that feels. And he's like, he doesn't feel as if he'll have support because people are like, well, you did it to yourself. And so he gets back in touch with some of the people who he did the surgery with. And the girl who had the folded implant thing, she says she still love her. She hasn't had any issues and she loves her life. She feels like she's got a new start on life and she absolutely loves it. And we also see other people who have used Bright Ocular and they're kind of like in this I guess kind of like this fade away where they're showing all these different people and they're telling their stories on how they had to get that shit reversed because if not they would have went blind. And we see the resolve of Daniel. He's back to his brown eyes, and Daniel is not Daniel Raymond, aka David. He's actually a very good looking man. He's beautiful to me. Like he is really good, not really good, but he looks really really good. Like he's very sexy. I could see him probably doing modeling or whatever he was doing throughout his life. But one thing I just kept coming to me is that children are not resilient because all of these people are grown. Some of them are parents themselves, and they are showing up as adult people, never healed from when they were first broken as a child. And those wounds are so deep, and it is impacting every single thing that they do in life. And it's very sad. And it also kind of sheds a more sinister light in a bit on why people are so intent on abusing children because they know that the impact is lifelong. But that's my review of Caterpillar. If you saw it, let me know of your review or your views of it. But thanks and see you later.